So in today's session, we will talk about the class and object, and then what is object oriented programming we'll discuss. Okay. Now, do you know what is meant by procedural oriented programming and object oriented programming? Any difference, you know?
Just a second. Today they sent a different link, something different. Okay.
Oh, that's why you are not there early, actually. Correct. You are not there in Python class. Some other class also is going on, I think, for them.
Okay.
Now, what is the link?
I got a link that which has video also. Same link. I mean, GoToMeeting only, but it has. I can also share the screen. Your screen. I mean, so screen is divided. My screen and your screen. So I'm doing.
Okay, okay.
I think I got.
Now you can share my screen instead of typing that in chat.
Yeah.
I will try to. Otherwise, I think I can close it here. Anyway, no problem.
I can see now. I zoomed your screen 300% or something. Okay.
That's not sure. Okay. Now you can see my screen only, correct?
Yes.
Tell me, what is the difference between procedure-oriented programming and this object-oriented programming? Anything you know?
In object-oriented, everything is there is class.
Okay.
And everything is object. And
suppose there are two programmers. Okay. I will tell you one example. There are two programmers are there. Okay. And each one is assigned to write a program. About how to suppose there is a girl has to control the dog robot. Suppose we have to write a program. Each one is assigned to write a program where there is a girl is there who has to control her dog robot. One will write in procedural way. One will follow the procedure. Not her. And other will follow the object way. Okay. What will be the thinking in their mind? For a procedural way to write a program, the programmer will think that what are the procedures I have to write. That means what are the things, what is a girl doing, what is a dog robot doing in my program. Okay. Procedural programmer thinks that what procedures he or she has to write. So that girl can control a dog robot. That means he will think about only what are the methods he has to use. That's all. He forgets about the girl and robot. He will only think what method I have to, what procedure I have to write, what code I have to write, so that whatever the things that these two girl and dog robot has to do, I have to convert into a code. But what object oriented programmer will do is object way. In an object way, so instead of thinking about the methods, what a dog will do, what a girl will do, he will think about the things in his program. That means he will think about how to design a girl, how to design a dog robot. Okay, so this is the difference between the procedural programming and the object oriented programming. In the object oriented programming, he will not worry about the methods, how a particular thing will be done. He will worry about the things inside a program, and using the things later he will write a code individually. So object A is similar to a real world. Now understand the difference?
Yes.
In this object programming, object oriented programming, we will first see what are the things in my program, what are the things I have to design in my program, and procedures will come in later way. But in procedural programming, he will think about the methods directly, what the program has to do, what a goal has to do, what a robot has to do. So it is not similar to a real world, but a object way is the similar to real world, because we are talking about the things. Here in procedural way, we always talk about functions and calling them. Correct. In C language also, it is a functional language. So whenever we want a repeat code is there, we'll put it in a function and we'll get it whenever we require. Okay. Here program is divided into objects, not functions. Understood?
Yes.
Instead of calling the functions, instead of writing procedures inside function, we will divide our program into objects. That means what are the objects in my program? I will divide accordingly. There are two objects in my program here, a girl object, a robot object, dog robot object. So I will write a program such that I will design them, and I will write a program method inside the objects, how to control each thing. I will not worry about the procedure of how to controlling prior to starting of the program. Here in procedural way, we will talk about the functions. That means methods, what methods I have to use so that a girl can control a dog robot.
Understood.
Suppose I want to make a change to my program. What I have to do in traditional programming?
What was your question?
No, I want to change certain code. I want to change the code so that I should get a new implementation in my output. So I am extending my program. So what I have to do in traditional programming, I have to go back to that code. Okay, I have to modify certain code. Correct.
Yes.
Suppose I have to modify a code. That means, suppose if I have to make changes inside a program, what I have to do, I have to touch the already tested and working program and make necessary changes. Correct.
Yes.
I have to go back to the function. Suppose I have to change the function coding. I cannot use the function overloading. I have to go back to the function. What is meant by overloading? I will tell you just a minute. I have to edit the existing function. Yesterday we have seen the functions, right? So inside the body of the function, I have to make changes and then again test it whether it works or not. So existing whatever the working program is there, I have to go back and I have to edit that one. Correct. But here in object orientation programming, there is no need existing code to extend to new implementation. Suppose I have to make some new implementation. We can simply overload the methods inside an object. Overloading means I can create one more function with the same name. In procedural way, I can create a function with the same name.
No.
No. In object way I can create one new function with the same way. But what I will make changes is suppose one function is there. Suppose add function is there. Earlier, this is only for example only. Okay. These are the parameters. Forget about variable arguments. I'm just telling for an example. Suppose someone asked me to pass on 3 parameters to design a function so that it will pass on 3 parameters. What I have to do in our procedure, I have to go inside a function, add function, and I have to add one more parameter here, number 3, like this. Correct?
Yes.
But in case of procedure, object-oriented programming, now it will only work for 3 numbers. It is always waiting for 3 numbers only. It will not work for 2 numbers. Correct? Once I change like this and 3. In procedural way, this is always expecting 3 parameters. If we don't pass on 3 parameters, 3 arguments, this function will not work. Correct?
Yes.
Yesterday we have seen, right? If we don't pass on the required number of arguments to a function which it is expecting, we will get an error. Correct? So
right.
In the same way, here in procedure way, if we have to modify anything, we have to go back to the function, existing function in the program, and I have to add one parameter like this, number 3. Whereas in object oriented programming, I will not touch that function. I will add one more function, one more method inside an object. Methods will reside inside an object in object oriented programming. Okay, with the same name I will write n1, n2, n3. That means number 1, number 2, number 3. So whenever I pass on 2 parameters, this function will be called. This method will be called. Whenever I pass on 3 parameters, this method will be called inside an object. This is called method overloading. Understood?
Understood.
Design a function the same name in case of object oriented programming, but in case of procedural way I cannot do it. So this is the advantage. I don't need to touch the existing code. Suppose this is the existing method, right? I will not go inside that method. Just I will write one more add function, add method, and will pass on the required number of parameters. That's all. Okay, that is the advantage of the object oriented programming, which we will not get it in procedural way.
Yes.
In procedural programming, functions are important, not data. Understood? Data means the
Yes.
whatever the parameters or arguments will pass on. In this object oriented programming, we are using encapsulation process. That means our data will be hidden inside an object. Okay, and we will give the specifiers, like there are access specifiers you can use. Before a variable we can use public, private, etc., so that we can specify who can access those variables. Okay, so data
Got
is
it.
secure inside the. Here we will concentrate only on data. Methods will come later, whereas in this procedural way we will think what procedures I have to use. That means what functions I have to write. Here data, we will forget about data. We will not think about data also. Suppose user's data is important, right? It should be hidden away from people whoever is accessing that application, right? We should not provide the data to everyone. Suppose bank account details, how much money we should. But in this object way, we can hide that data because we think that data is more important. Okay. We think that data privacy is more important. And secured using the access specifiers like public, private, and one more thing is protected. What is public, private, and protected? Public means anyone can access that variable. Private means only the members inside a particular class can access. Okay. Protected means people inside the class can access, members inside the class can access, and then members, the class where the package same, suppose there are two classes which belongs to same package, so they both can access that data. Understood? In private, only the members within the class which this data is residing can access. In protected, if the other classes also can access which reside in the same package. Understood? That means same module.
Okay, understood.
Modules we will see later. Modules and files. At that time you can understand what I'm saying. Okay, within the same package means what you for now you think within the same folder like that.
Okay,
Two classes are within the same folder. If the space access specifier is protected, that means they both can access that data.
got it.
What is meant by inheritance?
A child class can inherit the feature from parent class.
Okay. In general way, we can call that means I have inherited a property from my father, from my grandfathers, like that I can tell. Correct? In the same way,
Yes.
object procedure in object way can tell. We can use a extension method. We can use a extension class extension. Then we can get whatever the methods are there in the parent class inside the methods and data also. Whatever is there inside the new class, subclass, whatever we are creating, without writing any new procedures, methods. Correct? That is called inheritance.
Yes.
So without writing any new code, we are just using a extension keyword to create a subclass which inherits all the data and methods from the parent class, right? That kind of provision is not there in a procedural way. Understood?
Yes.
Those are the major differences. Can you tell me what is a class and why we have to use a class? We are talking about objects, right? Then
Yes.
why we have to talk about a class and why we have to use a class?
If we define a class, then we can define an object.
Who is creating an objects here? Here for creating the objects in for us in Python. So Python virtual machine will create objects for us. Correct?
Yes.
The virtual machine to create an object, we need to tell what type of objects to create. What are the members inside it? Members means variables and procedure methods. What are the methods and variables inside it? Data variables inside it. We have to tell the virtual machine what type of data to have to create. So that means if I take if I have to tell one dog object has to be created, we have to tell what are the data pertaining to the dog. What we have to define ahead in using a class keyword. We have to define what are the data and what are the methods inside a dog. In general way, what is a class? We can say like a class of animals. correct? That means we are
Yes.
abstracting out all the animals in one animal word, correct? Suppose they can be a lion, tiger, everything, but we are abstracting out the related animals and we're putting it inside in one word as animal, right? So we can call it as animal class of animals, like a group of animals. So in the same way, in that object way, we have to tell the virtual machine that I am creating a class of dogs here. Yeah, tomorrow if I want to create a dog, means you have to create a dog with the variables and methods whatever I have mentioned in that class, in the definition of class. So that's why class concept has come. You have to tell the virtual machine what it has to create, correct? That means we are extracting out all the data and methods inside one thing called class. Understood? Suppose this is one dog class, okay? What data can we provide inside a dog?
What breed the dog is.
We can create one name for that, correct?
Yes.
What is the size, weight, or size?
Age.
Can get yes. So while creating a class, we will tell the data elements, member elements inside it, and then what it has to do? It has to run or it has to bark. Okay. So we are separating out the data and the methods. That means things it has to do. Both things we are specifying inside a class. Understood? These are called methods. They are called instant variables. Why it is called instant variables? Because on creation of object we have to, one second, why it is, okay, some problem has happened. Okay, I will open that one. So while creating an object, Python virtual machine will search for that class. What are the data items inside it and methods inside it? It will create an object based on our values provided at the time of object creation. Understood?
Yes.
Okay, anyway. Suppose in earlier days we used to have postcards, right? Blank postcards. In post office we
Yes.
used to purchase, right? In that we used to have the on the top there is a name, an address, pin code, like this will be there, right? And then empty body, correct? On the back of that postcard we used to have all the empty columns, empty rows, like this. So suppose I have purchased 50 postcards raw. In that I have mentioned each address and I have written something. That means, what is it meaning? It means I have created a object, postcard object, correct? Using the object class. Sorry, using the postcard class, correct?
Yes.
I don't have the data here. As soon as I entered my related data, that means I have created object, right? So empty postcard we can, it is an analogous to
Class.
class. Fill postcard means it is we have created of object, postcard object, postcard class, right? Suppose I have written x equal to 1 here. What is happening?
Uh,
I have assigned the one value to my variable, correct?
yes,
That means,
that is stored and the address is assigned to X.
correct. So here x is acting like a container.
Object.
No, container which holds the object's address, right?
Yes.
Suppose here you see this is a container inside a memory location. You understand? The memory location is represented by a container, correct? The name of the
Yes.
container is x. So the name of the container is x, correct? It is a variable, right?
Yes.
I can hold any type of value. That's why it is a variable. For now, when I say x equal to 1, what will happen inside is the virtual machine will create a object of type integer, because this is a integer class, right? Type see, it is an integer class, right? So it will create an integer object for us. So this is an integer object, this one, object 1. So it will not hold that integer value here. Normally in primitive data types will hold the value inside this x container, but in the case of class and object oriented programming, we will not hold the value inside the variable. We will create objects inside the garbage collectible heap. So this is a heap of memory, so where Python has access to, correct? Inside that memory heap it will create an object, and that address location, whatever this address location is there, is passed on to this x variable. So x does not hold the object itself, it holds the address of that object, correct?
Yes.
So that is called reference variable. In this case, what is the reference variable type? Integer type reference variable, correct? Like that, what are the other
Yes.
reference variables we have? Types of reference variables. We have string data type, correct? That is when we create a string type object, we have to use the string type reference variable, right? Other thing,
Yes.
dictionary is there, list is there. So far we have created whatever objects, whatever inbuilt classes are there, correct? Whatever inbuilt classes that Python is providing, we have created objects of the type only. Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
So if I'm creating a list, means list of strings means we have list of objects of type list, correct?
Yes.
But we have not created any girl object, we have not created any dog object, right?
Right.
Because there is no class inside for that. But to write a program, we have to first mention a class,
Class.
so that we have to create our own data type. That means it is not a string, it is not an integer type, it is not a list type. Okay, we have to create our own class, we have to define our class, then only we will be able to create the objects out of it, correct?
Yes.
For that, what I have to use? How I define function?
DEF function name
Correct.
parameter.
Here, how can you guess? You have written in Python and Java, na?
It starts with the class keyword.
Yes. We will start with class keyword. What is the class we are creating? The name of the class?
Yes.
Dog. It should start with
Okay.
capital letter, right?
Yes.
So to get the data type dog data type, first we have to mention it in a class, what it is doing, then column, correct? That's
Yes.
all. We cannot keep like this empty. Before writing, we can use a pass keyword and then we can come out of it otherwise. So it has created a class of type dog, of name dog. Tomorrow we can enter the data whatever we want, like variable values, what are the
Yes.
variables should be there, what is the methods it should be doing. We can enter whatever we want, but this is called creation of a class of type dog.
Got it.
How to create an object out of dog class? You remember this statement?
Yes.
In Java, first we will mention, in Java we have to mention data type, right? Int
Yes.
equal to 1, like that. So dog is a data type for me because I already created dog data type, dog class. So it is a data type to me. And then my dog is the reference variable. New is means we are want the creation of a new object of type dog. But in Python we don't need to mention specifically, correct, data types. So what we will do is we'll mention only the variable. Until we mention here a dog, we will not be able, virtual machine will not be able what type we are putting. So at the runtime only it will decide what is the data type. Not, we don't need to mention ahead of the runtime, correct? Now is it right? It is creation of dog object.
It looks like function.
Function, but it is a creation of new dog object. We don't use to.
Okay.
It is a constructor, not a function actually.
Okay.
This is creation of class. Once we are deciding that dog is there, tomorrow I will not be able to create a function of that after type. Okay, suppose I put a class dog, I cannot use define def dog, so it will be getting confused. Correct? Confusion for us also, for it also. It is like a function call only, but it is a constructor.
Got it.
Because dog, it will search for the dog namespace where it is. It immediately finds it here. That means it is a class. It knows. Virtual machine knows it is a class. Understood?
Yes.
Suppose there is a function of dog name, then we will not be able to create a class dog at the time of runtime. It will give out error. It will interpreter will work, pass it on, because there is no function here. But at the time of runtime, it will be a problem for us. This is a creation of class, correct?
Yes.
Creation of object. Like this, I can create any number of objects. What will happen here if I am going to print my dog? Here my
It will
dog,
give an address location.
here my dog 1 is a reference variable, right?
Yes.
So when I'm printing my reference variable, first I will run. First I will save this one. See, dog object at this location. That means this value will be residing inside the my dog 1 variable. Understood, right?
Yes.
So what is the type of my dog 1?
Class dog.
Why it is showing like this? It should show class.
Print.
Okay. Maybe it should work now. See, class dog. That means we have created our own data type inside a Python using class keyword. Correct? It is not a integer class. It is not a string class. It is a dog class. We have seen the dog UML, right? Earlier dog.
Yeah.
What is the class? When we are creating class, what is the name we have told, na? Right? Name.
Yeah.
What are the variables we have decided? Age, correct?
Name, age,
breed, something. I don't know. Breeds. Okay. Anyway. So what are
weight.
the functions? Work, run, walk. These are the things it has to do. These are the things it knows. The dog class knows. These are the things it has to do. Correct? These are the methods.
Yes.
As of now, it is an empty class. We have not specified anything, but we have created one object. Correct? We have created two objects, right? Two objects we have created. So we can either create the elements here inside a class, or after object creation we can add the instance variables. Instance means what? Instance means what? I have created a dog instance at this step. What is meant by instance?
Yes.
That means instance means the object I have created. When we can use it, whether it is object creation or instance of the dog class. Both words we can use. Okay. So I have created two instances of dog here. Dog type, data type here. My dog one dot name. What is the code we have used here? What is the code I have typed? Dot operator I have used. That means I am referring my dog one variable. Suppose this is my dog one variable. This is the dog object. Okay. I am asking using the location address at this my dog one, reach the dog object at the heap. Okay. And inside the heap put an instance variable of name, and the value inside that name variable is puppy1. Understood? What happened?
Yes.
My dog one means I am just telling it the dog which is residing at this memory location. Suppose we have got some memory location, right? At this memory location, access the dog and enter these values, instant values, since these are called instant variables.
Yes.
Because for that particular instance only it is applicable. For this particular dog one only it is applicable. For dog 2 different values will be there. For dog 3 different values will be there. Suppose we call these as instance variables and we call these methods as instance methods, because each dog object will have its own methods. How to bark, how to run. Some will run,
Yes.
will run speed, and some dog can run slowly. Correct? It has its own way to do the run method, implement the run method, right? So walking also, barking also. So for each instance it will be different. So these are called instance variables and the methods are called instance methods. Suppose if I want something common which is applicable to all instances, I will put as inside a class, inside the class, and we could call them as a class variables or class methods. Understood? So that is common to all the instances. We don't need to rewrite that. Understand?
Yes.
So these are called the class variables. We will see later what is the difference between class variable and the instance variable. For now, we are entering the data inside a particular instance. My dog one instance is there. We are entering the values of instant variables inside it. So dog one I have defined, right? You understood about the dot operator here?
Yes. To access.
To access a dog which is having the memory location, which is having a memory address at my dog one. That means my dog one, whatever the value of address is there, access the dog. That means this is my dog one. That means whatever the value is there, what is the access that dog object inside the dog object. Dot means inside the dog object. Okay, inside the dog object there will be one name will be there. You put the value as puppy1 inside that name parameter. There will be one more is there, one more age variable is there, put the 2 years inside it. That is the meaning of the dot notation. That means use the memory before the dot to access the parameter after the dot. Understood?
Yes.
Suppose I have to access the dog2. Suppose I have to access the dog2. I want to enter the dog2. What is the reference variable we have created for dog2? My dog2, correct? The
Yes.
address location is stored at my dog2. So I will mention my dog2 dot name. So what I am doing is updated the instance variables of dog1 and dog2 here. So I will save it. Tomorrow if you want to access, want to see what is there inside the name of dog1, how we will do? Simply we will use the reference variable and then dot now. What output it will give? We are asking
Puppy.
puppy1, correct?
Yes.
You are clear about this dog notation, because this dot notation we are going to use it tomorrow also. So if you don't understand the dog notation, we will not be able to continue. So dot
I understand.
notation clear na?
Yes.
Suppose I want to access the method inside a dog one object. What I have to do? My dog one equal to my dog one dot bark method. Understood, right?
Yes.
We have not created any methods inside, so we will not be able to call those methods of dog. As of now, we have only filled up the instance variables. See, we got the puppy one, right? So
Yes.
we can access the data parameters, whatever inside of a dog object, using the dot notation. We can give the values also using the dot notation. But this is like a procedural way only. No? Every time I'm creating a dog, I'm writing lengthy code.
Yes.
So what is the use of class then? So this is the general way. This is not the way we are going to do when we create our programs inside object programming. What we have to do is I will tell you what is self, what is this one, everything. What is init method, I will tell you. Okay, just I will finish
Okay.
first. Self dot third parameter is breed, right? What is this init method? Why I used underscores here, double underscores? That means this is not a user defined method. Understood? This is a method.
Okay.
It is a special method inside a class. Whenever I am creating a dog object, the Python virtual machine will automatically run this method, init method. Understood? Whenever dog object is created, TVM will automatically run the init method. This is same as a constructor inside Java or C++. Understood? This is init method is same as constructor inside other languages. So what it
Yes.
will do is when we create an object, it will automatically call this init method. Whatever the values we are passed on at the time of construction, it will pass on the values to this dog instance variables. Now we have created the instance variables, right? We have mentioned what are the instance variables, right? What are the instance variables? Name, age, breed. So whatever the values we are passing on at the time of dog creation, age, breed. How many values this function is taking as in parameters?
3.
No,
4.
4. Self, name, age, breed. Here what I have done?
Only 3.
Here this is a dog creation, correct? Dog object creation, right?
Yes.
The reference variable is my dog one, correct?
Yes.
But my init method is waiting for 4 parameters to be passed on, 4 arguments to be passed on, correct? But I am passing on only 3 parameters, 3 arguments only. Why? Because this dog one parameter will be automatically passed on to the instance methods. This is like, I will tell you, inside Python virtual machine, what it will create is, for this particular code, what it will create is, it will type a code as this one, like this: class dog my dog one. Understood? Class dog my dog one. That
Okay.
whenever I type this code, Python will convert it into this code inside it. That means for this it don't it says what is the dog class it has to access to put these values. It has to access the dog class, because my dog one is referring inside the argument, and it will pass on to this self automatically. That means here instead of self we can write my dog one. My dog one. That means my dog one is updated here. like this when we type the code like this.
Got it.
Understood? So we don't need to specifically pass on the self parameter here. The Python will take care of the self parameter when we create the object of type dog. That parameter is reference variable, correct? So reference variable will pass on automatically. So we need to pass on only the instance variables. Okay, understood? So that's why
Yes.
put only 3 arguments inside here. Inside here, when we are creating an object. Understood? There is no thing that we have to use self here. I can use anything. But it is a common practice for everyone to use self, so that they will understand that this is the reference variable. Otherwise I can tell obj reference like this also. I can, it simply is a parameter. It will take my dog one, that's all. Here also I have to do obj reference. Understood?
Understood.
There is nothing convention like this. I have to use compulsory self. Okay, I can use whatever the name I call inside a init function. I can redefine the init function. Okay, I will
Understood.
self. So you understood what is the self use of the self parameter in the list of int methods, correct? Self.name, self.age, self.breed. Name is breed. So this one will be automatically passed on to this self when we create a dog. Okay, when we created a dog, this init method will be automatically running, correct? There is no need to call that in a method, init method. Understood? Every time we create a new instance, it will run automatically. At the time of creation, we will mention the parameters, arguments, what I want to pass on. What I have to pass on here now? Puppy1. Understood? First one is name, right? Next one
Yes.
is next one is puppy. Read is puppy. Comma 2 comma. It is a breed puppy. Otherwise, I mentioned age 3. Whenever I created a dog object, it will automatically run that instance init method with these arguments, and the self argument will be automatically my dog 2 will be passed on to this self. There is no need to mention. Suppose in the init I have removed this one self. Now number of arguments are matched with this, right? Correct?
Yes.
Here also number of arguments is 3. This init method is also waiting for the 3 arguments only, correct? So
Yeah.
name plus puppy1 will be there, age plus 2 will be there, breed plus puppy will be there. I will save it like this, okay? I will print how to refer a variable inside instance variable. Reference variable we have to type, then we have to use the dot and the name, correct? That is the
Yes.
convention we have to use, correct? What happened? The source document. Okay. For now, I will comment it. Okay. What What happened?
There is no closing.
Okay, it is treating as okay.
No, here when you call this, you did not close it here. On puppy 1, 2, and puppy.
I
What
close
is that?
parenthesis.
Codes are not closed.
Huh?
Codes.
Oh, quotes. Okay. Space. Okay. See the error. Read the error. Are able to read?
And it takes 3 positional arguments, but 4 were given.
That means my dog one is passing 4 parameters. This is passing
Yes.
4 parameters, but it is only taking 3. So what does it mean? My dog one is already, it is passing automatically while creation of object, right? So if
Yes.
I don't create self or anything, I can use object reference, anything, it will not work. Understood? That's why I replaced this one to show that this my dog one also will be passing as a parameter to this. So number of parameters inside init method should be matching to the number of arguments I am passing. Here I am passing 3 plus 1, 4 parameters. So I have to put 4 parameters list inside the init method. Otherwise, previously we have seen the updation of this puppy 1, 2 puppy instance variables outside the class. Correct? Correct. At that time there is no init method. How we are able to pass on then? Now only we are creating the instance variables, right? There is no init method. We have told every time as an object is created, init method will be called. In the last time when we have done like a procedural way, what init method it has called?
We assigned it individually.
No. Individually we have assigned, but we have put like this only, na?
Yes.
That means we have constructed a created object using the like this. But whenever we create an object like this, init method will be automatically running. Correct? We are told.
Okay.
But in the previous way, in the previous condition, there is no init method written for it to update the values. But how it has updated? Because Python will automatically create an init method for us. Even though we don't create our init method, own init method, Python will create the init method for us, and it will do the required necessary things, updations and all. Understood? So in here we have rewritten the init method. That means we have written the init method means we have rewritten the default init method.
Default.
Whatever the default init method is there, we have rewritten that using the variables we have mentioned. Understood? So that is the way we are able to run our code previously. So we have to type it puppy1 dot 2 dot puppy. Again we will write. Now this code will work, right? Because the fourth parameter also we have included in the init method.
Yes.
See, let us see whether we will be able to print or not. You see, puppy1 has been printed, huh? Correct? This error don't. Yes. I have entered now, that's why error has come.
Okay.
I will close this shell. Puppy1 has come, correct? That means at the time of object creation, I have updated the instance variables, not like a procedural way. So procedural way means I have to give a lengthy code, right? For each object I have to type 3-4 words, 3-4 correct, 3-4 lines of code I have to write, correct. There is an chance
Yes.
of errors also tomorrow. If I create thousands of objects means errors are there, errors it can create errors also. Suppose instead of by mistakenly my dog, instead of my dog to mention my dog one only and created a parameter, it will give a mistake to us. Instead of that, using a init method, if we create a instance variables at the time of object creation, in one single line we have completed the coding, correct.
Yes.
So we should always prefer using the constructor to update the instance variables. So understood about here, what are the instance variables? Instance variables are the variables that are particular to a object, not to that of class, correct. So each instance have separate values for that. You can see from here, each instance has separate values, correct. Understood. You see here, inside a class I have given one more variable. I have declared a variable, number of dogs. Understood.
Yes.
This is outside the init method or inside the init method, that number of dogs variable.
Outside.
So whenever we declare a variable outside the all the methods and inside the class, it is a class variable. It is common to all methods. In any method can access that one. So what type of variables we can put in a class? The variables which are applicable to all the objects, not to a particular object. We can put it inside a class as a class variable. Now any method we create later on inside this dog class can access that variable. Suppose here how many instances are there for a dog object?
2.
2 instances, right? So I want to update this number of dogs counter whenever I created object, right? So if I run this, sorry, here I have to keep the intent, right? Correct.
Yes.
It is to a particular class. This variable belongs to dog class, so I have to keep the indent. This is correct only, na? Plus equal to or equal to plus I have to do. I want to
Plus
repeat.
equal to. Fine.
Fine, na?
But you have to print it to get the value.
We'll print it here. What I have to print? How I have to print? It is, I cannot print like my dog dot number of dogs. Okay, I can print it, but it is not good way of doing. Okay, because it's a class variable, I will use the class name, right? What is the class name here? Dog, correct?
class dot num of
Dogs. How I can access class variables? Using the class name, correct?
yes.
And a dot operator on that. My dog 1, my dog 2. Is it correct? Can I put like this to access the class variable?
Yes, because it should be accessible by
Correct. Because it's a class variable, any instance can access, any object can access that class variable, right? Okay, let us see
yes.
if it works or not now. What is the error? Plus 1 or plus equal to plus 1. This one is equal to plus 1. Otherwise, I would put it like this. Okay, anyway. Correct only, na? Number of dogs variable value equal to number of plus 1. I want to mention shortcut. Anyway, I forgot the shortcut. Now, what is the error? Local variable number of dogs referenced before assignment. Here. How to access this one?
dogs, maybe.
Dog dot. That is not a local. It is treating as a local variable. Okay. This dog is wrong, na? This is caps lock. Correct. Any errors we have given here? This is okay.
Yeah. For my dog too, dog is small letter. It should be capitals. My dog too equal to dog puppy. Calling the
Capital, correct. Dog number of dogs. So I can access the instance variable inside the init method using self keyword, correct? Outside of the class, I can use the instance reference. It means reference variable can use. If I am to access the init variable inside a method, I have to use the self keyword. This point, please remember.
okay.
Inside a method, if I have to access instance variable, I have to use the self keyword. Outside the class, if I have to access the instance variable, I have to type out that instance variable reference, then followed by the particular variable. Understood? Otherwise,
Yes.
if I have to access a dog, I can mention it as a class name dot number of dogs. This is also wrong. Indent.
Indent for the number of dogs. Yeah.
This one only. This line only, na?
Yes.
It is all in same indent, right? No.
Now it is. It was not before.
See now, the counter is set to 2. Correct. Number of dogs we have created is 2. Correct. That's why
Yes.
variable is automatically set to 2 now. So that is the use of class variables. Whatever the variable that we want to access to inside access to by all the objects, then we will put that variable as a class variable. How to access the class variable? We can use the class name followed by dot operator. Okay, outside also and inside also we have to put the dog operator here. Okay,
Yes.
if I don't put the dog operator here, it will treat as a local variable to this init method. We have seen local variables right yesterday. So this is
Yes.
method only, function only. Inside the function, if you put some variable, if you declare a variable, it will be a local variable unless we use the global keyword or a non-local keyword. Understood? Here it is a class variable, so we have put the name of the class. Suppose I will come out of it. You see, what I have done here in this code.
You have called
An inbuilt called an inbuilt variable, special variable. This is like a special method, right?
yes.
This is like a inbuilt variable. This is like a special method in it. When a double underscore I am using, right? This is like Python's inbuilt init method. This is a inbuilt variable which will pass on the names whatever we have created, namespace details. So inside the my dog one, what are the namespaces values we have updated? Puppy one, age 2, breed, correct? Breed puppy.
Yes.
I will mention one point here. By default, all classes inside in Python are subclasses of object class. Understood? Understood? There is one object class at the top hierarchy. Top level, whatever the class we are going to creating, it is automatically a subclass of object class. Understood? In
Yes.
that object class, there are these parameters, variables. So because it is a subclass, we are able to access that here. Understood? So I'm using that variable dict to print out the values of namespaces inside my class. Okay, these are the namespaces inside my class instant variable list. Suppose my dog one dot number of dogs. Okay, I can put like this, no? I can access, correct?
Yes.
Equal to I put 10. What will happen to this number of dogs value? What is the number of dogs value before that one?
2.
I will put all these things. So before that, I call the namespace to check what is there inside my dog one. Then what I have done is I have accessed the number of dogs variable, class variable using class name and also by using the reference variable name. But here I try to update the number of dogs class variable using the dot notation to 10, correct? What will happen at this each stage? Can you guess? I tried to update
It will become 10.
no, using the same procedural way. When we're seeing, I have tried to update name and all using dot notation, right? My dog dot name equal to puppy and all before using the init method. In the same way, I tried to access because it is access to everyone, because it is a class variable. Even my dog 1 can access, my dog 2 can access. If I put my dog 1 comma number of dogs equal to 10, what will happen to this class variable value?
It will change to 10.
It will change to 10. I am saying it will be 2 only. Here it will be 10. I will print this dict one more time to show you what will happen to the namespace of my dog 1 after I have updated this one. See, before changing the namespace is only 3 names are there, 3 variables are there, instance variables, name, age, breed, correct? I have 2 objects created. That means this number of dogs value is 2 because I have created 2 instances here, correct? Understood?
Yes.
Now you see, after I updated number of dogs, my dog 1 to number of dogs equal to 10, what has happened? It has created a new instance of my number of dogs inside dog 1. That means one more new instance variable got updated inside dog 1. Understood? And updated the value of 10 there. So that 10 is particular to that instance, not to the overall class, correct? Because this is a class variable, I cannot update here. What is it is particular to that my dog 1 instance, my dog 1 object. So it has updated inside the my dog object, one more variable it has created and updated that 10 inside that. So when we are trying to reassign a class variable, a new instance variable is created inside that object. Understood this line?
Yes.
So now, because this is not changed to 10, when we're trying to access that variable using class name, it is 2 only, not 10. Even my dog 2 also don't have that value because it has not tried to reassign the number of dogs variable. So it is still referring the class variable only. Understood? So its value is also 2 only. See, my dog 2 dot list dict. See, my dog 2 namespace, there is no number of dogs. It is still the old only because it has not tried to reassign the class variable. So whenever we want to reassign a class variable, a new instance of that instant variable is created inside that instance. Understand this one now? Understood?
Yes.
That means inside our UML, if I see, one more instance variable like number of objects is created. When I try to inside dog 1, this is dog 1 object only now. Inside dog 1 object, one more new instance variable got updated. Instead of these 3, there are no 4 instance variables, and the class variable is still the same only. It has not changed. It will not change also. That is the meaning of this code. Understood, right?
Yes.
So in how many ways we can access the instance variables? What are instance variables? The variables which are related to a particular instant. That means that variables are not same for each instant. So those variables only we call the instance variables. For suppose this number of stocks is same for each instant, correct? Before giving this assignment, number of dogs equal to 10. This is common to all instances. So that at the class level. So that is a class variable. But if each variable is different for different instances, then it is called an instance variable, right? So all these things are instance variables. This is a class variable. So in what way we can, how many ways we can access the instance variables? Outside the class, we can mention the variable, reference variable dot the name. My dog one dot name. So this is one type accessing. Okay.
Yes.
Using the reference variable, I can access. Inside the class, inside the instance method, this is an instance method, right? Even though this is automatically running, this method is called instance method. Okay, this inside the instance method we are using the self keyword, because this my dog one will be automatically passing as a self parameter, self argument. So we use the self keyword. So inside the method we use the self keyword to access a instance variable. Outside a method, outside the class, we use the reference variable to access the instance variable, right? These are the two ways. In how many ways I can access the class variables?
Two ways. I don't know.
Two ways only.
Okay.
One way is using class name dog dot number of dogs. Understood? Next one is using the particular instance variable. That means my dog one dot number of dogs. So for this also there are two ways. One is class name, another is a reference variable. Understood? For instance variables to access, we use the instance variable reference name, or we have to use self keyword inside a init method. Inside a init method, if I do like this, it will be an error. Okay, I should not access the variable inside a method like this. I have to always use a self keyword, but because this code is common to all the objects, like
Yes.
that's why I should not access it by using a reference variable. I have to access by using a common keyword self. Okay, that self will be automatically be passed when my creating a dog object. So this my dog2 will be automatically passing to the self keyword, and other arguments puppy2 and all it will take from here and it put it here. So these values will be updated. So there are two ways for accessing instance variables. There are two ways for accessing the class variables, right? So with these basics, tomorrow we will see one more example of how to create an employee list inside a particular company. Okay, we can proceed further tomorrow. Okay. Now
Okay.
remember these points, whatever we discussed, so that it will be helpful for us tomorrow. What is instance variable? How to access the instance variable? What is class variable? How to access it? What is an init method? Suppose I am defining one method here for dog. Define. What is the methods we are putting inside the dog? Bark.
Walk, run.
Okay. Suppose I put bark method. What is the first argument I have to pass on? Self, because every time this instance methods are run, self will be automatically passed as an argument. So I should not forget self. So I've created one instance method. This method will not automatically run. Okay, we have to call it. But this method will run. Init method will run automatically whenever we create a object. So every instance method we have to put self keyword inside parameter list, as it is automatically passed when we are calling methods or when we are calling the variables, okay, inside a method. So we should not forget the self keyword in here. The self will be a reference name that we will use to refer a particular instance. Okay, so this is one more method, bark method. We can write logic here, whatever we want, or we can simply pass also, no problem. Whatever the business logic is there, that will go inside the instance methods only. So we can write whatever the business logic we want here. There are so many methods also we can write. There is no limit that we have to write only one instance method. Okay, we can write whatever we want. Tomorrow we will understand the OOPS concept further with some more examples. Okay,
Okay.
then how objects inside a particular class will talk to each other, or outside the class also objects talk to each other to run the program. Okay, we'll see tomorrow how they talk to each, communicate with each other. Now we got the basics, right? Basics of
Yes.
accessing the instance and class variables, how to create an object, how to pass on the, how to use a init method. Okay, understood, right? Otherwise you can read one more time, no problem. Okay, we will continue tomorrow.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.